Welcome to the Legacy of Luxury. Nick Constantino here with Jaron Solomon. Jaron, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
Good. We are here from the Solomon Brothers Studios, and we are with Ali McAllister of Cult Aesthetics. Ali, how you doing, girl?
I'm great. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you. So we are in a new year.
We are.
Nick, I think we're really stepping up our looks here on the show.
I know. That's why I did my hair. That's so nice of you to say. I did my hair. Oh, sorry.
So lovely.
That's all. That's half the battle, right? So we are in a new year. So we're going to talk about a couple of different things and merge them together. So Ali, start with telling us a little bit about Cult Aesthetics, talk about the shop, the journey to open it, and all that good stuff.
So I've been a nurse practitioner doing aesthetics in Atlanta for the last 10 years, and it's grown into Cult Aesthetics. We have a aesthetic conference where we train the top of the top around the country. We're hosting our 9th and 10th conference this year. And then,
you know what? Let's take a half a step back and let's define aesthetics for everybody.
Let's talk
just
about
so we
aesthetics
know before we go into it, because I think it's really
I
important.
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Like, jewelry is pretty easy to know what it is, but let's talk about aesthetics.
I know you guys might not be our typical client,
okay,
but hopefully after today you will be. So aesthetics.
I'm actually going to get Botox in the middle of the shot and just see if we can see the difference.
With me. Okay.
We're going to put snake venom right in the
You were
cheek.
looking a little wrinkly.
It's aesthetic medicine, and I try not to say med spa because it kind of has this negative connotation. Aesthetic medicine, it's anti-aging. We are preventing wrinkles with Botox, neurotoxins. We are doing dermal fillers. We're doing skin treatments, which we should talk about today for 2026. But lasers, microneedling, even down to medical grade skincare. So that is aesthetics.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that part of the conversation these days is the confidence to be out and to be about and how much projects off of that confidence. So I think it's a good thing. Okay, so now that we know what that is, let's go back. Let's go back into your journey and how you got there.
So we have Cult Conference, which is one wing of our company where we train providers all over the country. We bring in the best of the best for a curated retreat style weekend, and we'll have our 9th and 10th conference this year. So that's really fun. We have a online e-commerce where we've chosen our hero products that we are able to ship nationwide. And then we have our physical clinics, Cult Clinics in Atlanta and Dallas, and then maybe one coming somewhere else in 2026.
Ooh.
Breaking news, Nick, on the show.
Okay, so I have to imagine that the industry is crowded, that there's a lot of noise in the industry.
Of course, right. Anything that's fun, luxury, right? I'm sure you guys hear that as well.
Yeah, you're stealing words out of my mouth. That's what I'm getting to. So talk about, and it's important because the word luxury, and one of the things Jaron and I talk about a lot is the concept of luxury is misunderstood, right? If you can afford to come up to my store, to Jaron's store, to spend $500 to buy a piece of jewelry, and you're not worried where that money is coming from. Or you can walk into your aesthetic clinic and perform a procedure on yourself to make yourself feel better, and you're not worried where that money is coming from. You understand what luxury is. You may not understand what a super yacht that you own that's worth $3 billion is, but you understand luxury. And I think that's really important. So, but in that sense, how crowded is the space? And talk a little bit about what you're doing to differentiate yourself in the space.
So the space is definitely crowded, which I kind of love because when you start to see this influx, unfortunately, you will see clinics close and the industry starts to kind of shudder a little bit. I love that. Get out of the way. Let us cook in the kitchen. Let the best of the best rise to the top, right?
A little Darwinism at its finest.
That's right.
Survival of the fittest, baby. All right.
We're going to start there early. Yeah. So I do think it's crowded in the sense that it is more popular now. We talk about aesthetics now. It's not so faux pas. People aren't trying to come into our clinics from a hidden door. You know, it's okay to say I get Botox or I get a laser done. It's not so hush-hush. But I think in that vein, it's really important that, and we're doing this, we are setting the bar really high. Our providers are trained. We value education. We value results over this quick churn of getting patients in the door and just shooing them out.
Yeah. And I think, Jaron, question for you, but just based on what I've seen, the confidence that is exuded of somebody who just goes, especially a woman who comes and buys her own piece of jewelry. If you remember yesterday, we had someone come in for that Rolex and she, you know, the compliments that they got because it was a green-faced rare Rolex and she felt so much more powerful in her office. She said it, you saw the look on her face. So talk a little bit about how that same kind of feel of that confidence of wearing that power piece can kind of change behavior and your psychology.
There's no question about it, right? When you put on something fancy, right? Whether it be clothes, shoes, jewelry, watches, you just feel more confident walking out there into the workplace, right? You know, when a woman gets to put on a beautiful diamond tennis bracelet or beautiful diamond studs, right? I mean, you are truly shining brighter, right? So you're going to walk in somewhere and feel like you're lighting up the room just with the jewelry that you're wearing. And that's no different for all luxury goods, right?
I think
Like,
so.
why do I buy my wife nice purses, right? It's because I want her to wear them proudly. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Wear them proudly. It means to have the confidence.
Well, yesterday when you tried on that platinum Rolex with the blue face and the brown bezel, I swear to God, in front of me, you grew 2 inches just by putting it on. The confidence.
Don't get me
I
started.
don't know if you stood higher. I don't know what happened, but you look like you grew 2 inches just there. So
I'm a short man, and I felt 10 feet tall, baby. Feel like I could dunk. You know?
And you know what's so cool though is that these things all go hand in hand, right? Yeah. Right? You go in, you get Botox, and you have all these. You serve it. They make you feel younger, followed by some nice jewelry, make you feel more confident, and the impact that it could have on your demeanor and your general. And I think it's misperceived. I think people, it's like, oh my gosh, she's just doing it. She's just trying to look young in front of her friends. But I think nowadays it's also okay to celebrate women and the power that they find in themselves. Is that cheesy to say?
No, I think that's absolutely true. What you're saying is people
Thank you for reframing it for me because I was dying there. Thank you.
I get it. People think that you are spending money on jewelry or on aesthetics because you don't have confidence. What I see in my practice is that you are confident and you want to make sure that the outside matches the way that you feel. You've worked hard, like you said, someone who can come in and pay for it themselves. You've got this career, you're juggling being a mom, a wife, and then you want to feel like a badass, right? And you do so because you get that badass Rolex. You do so because your skin looks great. You feel confident. It's not masking something. It's really highlighting this persona, this lifestyle that you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's become a lot more accepted as well. You mentioned it earlier, like Botox is not like taboo anymore, right? So you're not scared of saying it. It's because you're saying to yourself, hey, I take care of myself. I take care of my body. I want to look great. Yeah, exactly.
This is a temple. And I take care of my temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want my temple to be smooth and pigment-free and, glowing.
And it's interesting. I think it kind of all came out of COVID, right? When the luxury boom happened, it was like, for whatever reason, and I don't know exactly why, but after COVID, it's like luxury boomed because people were unafraid anymore. Maybe it was that sense of seeing people dying around them. Unfortunately, we all know somebody that probably passed away of some degree during that time. And I think it was kind of like, listen, to hell with it. I'm going on an African safari. I'm going to spend $100,000 on a trip, and I don't care if everyone sees it on Instagram.
And I agree with you. I also think though, because the actual wardrobe, people were dressing down a little bit more, that some of these things became more important because it wasn't that power suit anymore that told that story. So you're wearing that quarter zip, but you got that $30,000 watch on, or you just went and got this glowing face. I think it became part of your outfit, if you will, because we got a little bit more casual and dress.
We totally did. And you're seeing yourself on Zoom, right? With COVID all the time, constantly looking at yourself, staring at your wrinkles, staring at your naked earlobes, right? You're like,
Thank you, Zoom, for those 4-carat total weight sales.
Some studs help this earring, my little ear candy. Yeah, I totally think it happens.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about ages, because I think this applies in both, right? As far as jewelry, you go on a journey of these ages, right? When you're young, you afford that bridal. That's your first big purchase, that engagement ring. But then you trade your way up. I have to imagine that your services are of value to all these different ages.
Completely.
So talk a little bit about that flow.
And I think the great thing is, because of social media, our younger clients are so much more savvy. They're educated. They know quality, right? And even if, like you said, they can't afford that, 5-6 carat ring, they might start out with a little more, something a little more like a solitaire, right? So they're going to come to me. They're going to do some microneedling twice a year to compound collagen. They're going to maybe do like a little lip filler once a year. They're going to have good skincare, and that's it. It doesn't have to be out of control.
And that probably prepares you to need less actual work done 100%. When you're older also, right? It's like that going to the gym, maintaining if you're 40 years old, you wake up one day with no testosterone, you're like, I'm going to go squat 600 pounds. Like you're not, it's not going to happen, bro.
You've missed your prime.
It's not going to happen. Right. So it's about,
can you imagine?
I always joke. I know this is horrible. We'll skip that line, but no, I think it's a really good point. So let's get a little older. Let's say you are that late 30s, early 40s. You're juggling kids who take so much out of you. You're in that part of your job where you just had the kids. Now you're struggling because you can't put the same amount of hours in. Talk about that age, because I think that's probably a really important age.
30 and 40s is my favorite, probably because that's where I'm at also. And I think people are starting to hit their stride in their career, right? They're starting to invest in that luxury car
Yep.
finally, right? They are gotten a promotion. They can afford a little bit more. I'm seeing them more regularly. They're coming to see me 4 times a year. They're starting to get a little filler. They've maybe dabbled with a little weight loss medication, right?
Yeah.
So
which is not faux pas anymore at all. No. I mean, I saw a girl. I'm like, girl, you look great. She goes, GLP-1s.
Right? We're very proud of
and she was like, she jumped out of her seat about it. I mean, I found out after that she was endorsing them, and it was like part of the shtick. But regardless, I mean, it was unbelievable, the transformation.
It, right? Well, that weight loss happens in the face too. So we're there to correct that. And I think that mom age is huge too. You don't necessarily feel like yourself, right?
Yeah.
From that beginning when you're pregnant, when you have that baby. And then you get to come in and do this like little mini makeover with us. And I love to, have people feeling confident again and feeling like themselves.
Yeah. All right. So let's go a little older. And Jaron, I want you to go through a similar journey with jewelry, but I want to get to that 50, 60. And the reason this is menopause. Right. There's lots of changes going on, but this is also where you're expected to be in your prime earning years. So talk about that age.
So, and that female age is interesting because I think that's where the differentiation happens between men and women, right? You get that age, you think about George Clooney, Brad Pitt. We love their crow's feet, their salty hair. Women, not so much, right? We need to stay.
Damn society.
It just is what it is. And I'm always very blunt with my male patients. I'm like, we're not going to talk your crow's feet heavy because don't you want to be sexy? And if I make you look weird like Simon Cowell, we're giving like cat face. It's
not sexy.
It's not sexy.
One of the least sexiest people alive, Simon Cowell.
No offense to Simon. God, I hope he doesn't listen to Dio's podcast.
If he does,
he's not listening.
Thanks, Simon.
Any press is good press.
We can make it better. Anyway, so I think this is where that big differentiation starts to happen. And my female patients tend to have a little oh shit and a panic moment.
Yeah.
And we're there for that. We have bioidentical hormone replacement now. So you start to feel better.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through those terrible symptoms of menopause alone.
Yeah, and hormone replacement therapy is huge right now in every direction. It's funny because men have been doing it with testosterone forever. Yeah. Like, it's just a completely normal. Guys talk about it all the time. Like, oh yeah, I'm on TRT. Oh no, I go to that place. Yeah, and it's like, these are 35-year-old guys.
Like,
and it's like, oh my God.
That's my favorite game to play at the gym.
Right.
Women, we don't get to do that. But maybe we'll start doing that.
Yeah,
with women.
There's money there.
Like, are you happy?
When there's money there, it's going to happen. HRT is going to be a big thing. Keep going.
So these patients, they're usually more established. They've got funds. They're, like we talked about earlier, they're not really worried so much about that financial burden. They want to not look weird, but they want to look rested and smooth. That's what our goal is there. It's not to look 20. We're never going to look 20 again, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, right? I mean, 20s are fun, but they're also hectic.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah,
right?
I definitely put way more stress on my body in my 20s. And my kids are crazy, but there's no way what I did to myself in my 20s.
No, it's not the same. So I love my patients that are 50 and 60s because they don't give a shit anymore. They really don't care. They want to look good and feel good, and they want to not look weird.
Yeah. I love it. And I will say, from being someone who's here and around a lot of these women, there are plenty of women in their 50s and their 60s that are still knockouts. Oh, my goodness. And it's that confidence that they have. I at that age, it's the confidence that makes them be that knockout. Yeah. Weird things go through my head. Anyway, Jaron, how about you, bud? Let's talk about the ages, dude. So let's go through, especially jewelry in your 20s and in your 30s. Let's do it. Oh, I'm talking Betty White, bro. I'm going 90s. I'm going real, dude. I'm just kidding. I know. I'm just kidding. Keep going.
I tell you who does not look good is old Demi Moore on Landman. Love the show, but she needs some help.
How does Ali Watner look? Fire, right? I think
unbelievable.
She's in her 50s. She looks amazing.
There you go. I mean, this could be a whole different episode. Yeah. So let's go back to the ages of jewelry. Yeah. Let's talk about those 30, the 20s, 30s, the different pieces that really are people coming in for.
Yeah, sure. So we obviously see the journey all the way through, right? From start to finish, from Valentine's Day, boyfriend-girlfriend stage, and then obviously the engagement ring that we start with. Nick and I were talking about how many rings we've been doing. It was over 200,000 rings that we put on people's fingers.
Wild.
So really starting there, we've seen that average age tick up a little bit as far as getting engaged, but it's still hitting in that late 20s, early 30s phase. And then, we're definitely seeing, as am I, in that mid 30s and early 40s area of life. And, that 40-year-old birthday, we're seeing people celebrate that, men and women.
Yep.
That guy is starting to get that first major timepiece.
Yep. And I think that midlife crisis has moved back because of the age, especially when you're in that luxury market. You tend to live longer. It's moved back a little bit. The 50s are really the new 40. 40, you don't feel like you're an old man. Like it's a different world nowadays. So I think that midlife crisis has kind of moved back a little bit.
For sure not. And then as we step up to 50, we start seeing from the jewelry side of things, now you're starting to celebrate like big anniversaries too.
Yeah.
Now you've been together for 10 years, 15 years, maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
And then you're starting to really see those big ones. So when we get into those anniversaries, now we're talking about much bigger gift giving, much bigger celebration, and something to cement that moment. And although going through it was about the trip that you took or something like that when you were younger, now we're seeing in those mid-50s, not only can you take the trip anyway and get the jewelry, but the jewelry seems to actually mark the moment more so than I'm 55 or 60 years old and we're going to Japan. It's like, you can go to Japan anyway, but that will come and go. The mark of a yellow diamond will stay forever. And then you'll pass it down. You start thinking you have people to pass it down too, right? Now you kind of know, oh, my son might be even getting married soon. I want to give them my original engagement ring that I bought from Solomon Brothers, which is crazy. And then I'm actually going to upgrade myself. So it's really cool to see the stages.
And I think similarly, the more time and thought you put into it when you're younger, the more it reaps benefits when you're older. So for us, for example, you buy a nice ring, we will take it back and trade you up. So you're going through this process that feels like an evolution. When you do this regimen when you're in your 20s and 30s, it is an evolution to your 40s and 50s. It's not going cold turkey because like anything, it's very hard to stop from 0 to 60. It's much easier to gradually get there.
Gradual,
Yeah. So somehow the radio show is already over. I'm going to completely throw us off guard and have some fun after the radio show. But very quickly, tell everybody how to find you. Tell them about both the conferences and the clinics. Even drop a line in Dallas. We got some Dallas listeners, believe it or not.
So we're easy to find. It's all one Cult Conference at Instagram or cultconference.com. And then Cult Clinics is also our Instagram. So we're super easy to locate. Atlanta, Dallas, and then maybe somewhere out west.
Okay, love it. And let's do some practical closing. Explain to people why the service is, why they should take a look at it, why they shouldn't listen to what their friends say, and why they should start doing these things because it would be beneficial and throughout life.
I think it's important to know that you don't have to go all in, right? We can start small. We can start with quality skincare. We can start with quality skin treatments. A lot of people are a little hesitant of looking too done, and the injectable seems intimidating. So great skin treatments like microneedling, a great place to start. 4 times your collagen with just 3 treatments. So a great place to start.
Yeah, I love it. And that's some sound, sage advice. Jaron, how about you, bud? Any advice as we're going into Valentine's Day, just about your journey with jewelry?
Yeah, no, listen, I also think when you're buying from a fine jewelry store and you're buying the real deal, meaning 14 karat gold, 18 karat gold, platinum, even silver, right? You are still buying a real piece of jewelry that will last forever and that will stand the test of time. You can pass it down. You can trade it in because it will always have value to it. So that's what I would say is when you're buying jewelry out there, buy something that's worth it. Don't buy junk because when it's done, it's done. And that's not the case for literally any piece of jewelry in a fine jewelry store, obviously in our store, but really any fine jewelry store around the country. I would stick to the finer pieces in life, as they say.
I love it. And
quality here.
That's it. That's all we're going for. That's that luxury, baby. And I will say, just as the outsider, try to find people like Ali and Jaron who care and who are charismatic and want to go through this with you and aren't just shoving down their throat the things that they are trying to sell. They want you to come back. This is not about getting you something and then being on to the next. This is about lifelong customers for both. Ali, thank you very much. Jaron, thank you as always. You've been listening to the Legacy Luxury Radio Show. We're about to go offline the podcast and have some dirty talks. So we'll catch you next time.
Let's do it.
Jaron, you staying or you going, bud?
Huh? No.
All right.
I don't think I set my
All right. We're going to do horror stories.
Yeah, we're going to go.
We're going horror stories.
Real?
Times where people got something, you're like, girl, don't do that. Jaron, someone would come in and bought something that was just, you should not have bought that. So, and it doesn't, we don't have to make it, we don't have to say people's names, just,
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And now we can say fuckity fuck as much as we want to.
Ooh, I love that.
All right. We're back.
I'm from the South, so I love to say
Ready?
fuck.
All right. Welcome back to the Legacy of Luxury. We are offline. We are off radio. We are on the podcast. We definitely already tried to get a celebrity to come in by who's definitely not listening to this show. But with that in vain, we're going to have a fucking good time. And we're going to do some horror stories about both in the aesthetics world and time people came in and it's like, oh girl, don't do that. Or times in jewelry where against our advice and recommendation, they bought something that just didn't fit. So who wants to go first? And then we have the lovely Ashley here, and she's going to gauge between the two which story was worse or crazier.
All right.
So we're going to get yay or nay to both, okay? All right, let's do it.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Allie, hit me.
I had a new consult. This was a new patient. She came in. Immediately upon seeing this patient, I said, red flag here. We're overfilled. I'm talking maleficent cheeks, these crazy chin and jawline. Her lips were huge. She's like, I just need some Botox. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to fill you. And I'm establishing rapport. So I don't want to tell you that I need to dissolve your entire face, but I'll do some Botox.
Yeah.
And as I'm injecting her, I realized that her lip is bleeding. And I was like, are you okay? And she said, oh, I just left this other practice and I just had my lips done 10 minutes ago. So I was holding her lips while she was bleeding, figuring out how I was going to tell her that everything was terrible here. And anyways, I still see this patient today and we have dissolved almost everything.
Now,
that was a horror story for me.
Now, this is going to sound like a rude question,
That's okay,
but are there men that like that in the world? Is it a sense of what they believe society makes them look like, or are there dudes that are like,
listen,
oh my God, porcelain is my favorite skin tone?
I think when you
is it?
Have you ever been to a bar and there's just, I'm sure you have been to a bar. You seem like a guy that's been to a bar before. There's just tears, right?
Definitely.
And I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. So I'm sure at that bar, that costume jewelry looks good, right? Maybe.
I mean, if I was to find the guy who looked across at that girl with that much work done and jumped across the bar like, that's the one, I would think,
insane.
Yeah.
It was out of this world.
I'm more like it puts the lotion on the skin and it puts the lotion in the basket thinking at that point. But anyway.
It reminds me of, did you see Just Go With It?
Yes.
When the guy's drinking at the party and it's all coming out of his mouth because he's had
side.
So I'm envisioning this woman.
And you see it often. And
why are you bleeding?
What was going on?
And at that point, it's also a matter of your duty, Hippocratic oath, you're killing yourself. Yeah. This is not sustainable.
No, we have to have some honest, real conversations. And luckily, I've been doing this for a decade in Atlanta. So my clientele, they get it. They see me. They know we don't look weird. They want to look, normal, just younger and rested. That's really the goal here. So it's rare, but it does happen.
Yeah.
The same for you.
Jaron, I can't wait for this one, bud.
Yeah,
well, listen, all my mind went to when we said horror stories is honestly, we take it a step further here a little bit and we can almost predict how long a marriage is going to last. So the horror stories that I have from here is literally seeing a couple in the store and being like, dude,
run.
Don't do this. Or to her, lady, he's not listening to you. You end up with something on your finger that is totally different. So,
I never thought of it. It's like a microcosm of the whole relationship. Think about how much compromise should go into that and that process.
Yeah, it should be 0 because she should get what she wants. And so it's and I'm not, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be a saint.
0% financing.
But listen, there is I think the reason that my marriage will last for a lot of different reasons because my wife's a saint, but and it's not this Allie, as people know. My wife's name is Allie.
Do the Jews have saints?
That's great. We probably invented them, but anyway, let's not get into that. How did it all come about, Nick? Let's not start from the beginning. But no,
Yeshua.
When I see a woman walk in here with her man, or a couple in general, I actually don't care. 2 men, 2 women, actually. 2 men, it's easier to figure out, see if they're going to last or not, because now we'll see if they're really listening to each other. Because I got 2 dudes fighting. So, but, the people that say, oh, I think rose gold looks beautiful on you because that's what you want. That's what you're looking for. Not saying I hate rose gold. It's like, well, man, if it's what she wants, she probably knows what looks good on her skin.
How often are you looking at her finger to determine if you love it?
Exactly. And those are the horror stories that we're just sitting in the room and we've got, say a $20,000, $30,000 diamond on the table. We're all excited to make a sale, right? Treat them right, take care of them, all that stuff. And, the woman is saying, but I just don't want a round. I want an oval. And he's like, well, I like round best. I'm like, well, this is not going to last because you know what? Just wait till you redo your kitchen, or is it going to be where your kid's going to go to school? This is not the conversations you want to have. So we keep quiet. We're not trying to get involved in anyone's, counseling over here, but we do see them back here.
Any styles or stones that people come in and ask for that you're like, oh my God, just don't do that. Is there anything that sticks out to you? And then we'll give you a second on it. And then Ali, for you, is there anything that people ask for that you're just like, oh my goodness, you should not do that?
For sure.
Yeah. So I used to actually think that. I had a good friend, and if he listens to the podcast, I'm sorry, Kevin, but, came in and bought a kite-shape diamond as the center stone.
Okay.
Just literally looks like you're flying a kite on the beach, right? And that is her center stone.
Did they start cutting that because people wanted it, or was it like the sloppy seconds cut that's just because...
They're actually meant more. They are part of the Asher family. They literally look like a kite. And they're really meant more for like side stones, like accent pieces to be very small.
Like angular. It's like a pear, but
like a trapezoid
with
or
angle.
something
Got
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, I want it for my center stone. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Are you a kite enthusiast, perhaps?
Fast forward, to 2026. I mean, it's pretty hip to get a different shaped stone like that now. So I think the joke's on me. But when I first saw that, I was like, dude.
But you made it look good because that's what you do.
It honestly did not.
You
look horrible.
that in India, kite fighting is like the NFL there. So maybe she was a kite fighter.
I don't think she was, but yes. But that was pretty out there for me. So really, I get weirded out by like different shaped stones, and I'm like, man, are you gonna wake up in the morning in 3 years' time and look down at your engagement ring and be like, I'm so happy I made that decision.
And it's funny you say that because the shape that throws me up the most is the pear shaped, because it's not symmetrical, and you expect symmetry, and like the kite's similar. It's almost like a pear except angled.
Completely,
and it's the lack of symmetry seems weird to me, but I could see also why it would look cool if it's done the right way.
That one throws you off, the pear.
Out of all of the ones, because there's no symmetry to it, and everything else that we have, radiant and square, and it's all symmetrical.
Right. You're lucky you weren't getting engaged in the late 90s, early 2000s, because that was all that was. There you go.
There you go. But which means it's due for a comeback, lady. So who the heck knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So as far as Ali, as far as you, what's something that people ask for? They just like, don't do it.
I have two.
Go.
One is a fox brow thread lift. You guys are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? You basically stick...
I was thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's okay.
Threads into the lateral brow and like pull the brows up as hard as you can. It doesn't last. It's a complete waste of money. And then the second thing is Russian lips. They are giant. It's a technique that does not... I know if it's...
Now we're getting political.
It's not really the Russian.
This is the other problem with the war, everybody.
Yeah.
The Russian
lips.
It's
the commie. Or the commie lips, as we like to call it.
The lips are horrible. No, it's a style, it's a technique, and it is...
Is it bracing the face for the super cold winters? Is that what the lips are for?
Enough blubber in there.
That's what it is. I figured, and that you slop it, they eat for food. But anyway.
Is it the super puffy look?
They're giant.
Is that what okay.
They all look puffy. It's just it's an overdone look, and we still get calls for it, and we can do a larger lip if it's inappropriate, depending on you and your face shape and what you maybe, I don't know, your career, but it's not our bread and butter.
So in summary, we have listen to your significant other, don't go at it alone.
No kites.
Kites are coming back. Go with what you like. Don't listen to people. And finally, no Russian lips.
No Russian lips and no fox brows.
You've been listening to Legacy of Luxury. We'll catch you next time.